Hi there, this is Blair Bat coming to your screens for the first time ever from my little bedroom. Today I will be talking about misophonia, what it is, and how you can improve your condition. Full disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, nor am I a licensed therapist. I have seen psychiatrists, therapists, misophonia specialists, hypnotists, and acupuncturists for my condition, and thought I'd share what worked in my experience in hopes to help people who cannot afford these services, or just like additional information. To start, we need to understand what misophonia is and how it develops. Misophonia is a learned hatred of particular trigger sounds. It builds over time from repeated negative emotional and physical reactions to those sounds. Misokinesia is a comorbid condition in which the sights or motions associated with those trigger sounds also become triggers. I developed misophonia at age 13 and I was diagnosed at age 15. I am now 21. Because of how misophonia develops, it means that if left untreated, it will exponentially get more severe over time. The response is typically an emotion, such as anger or disgust, and a physical body response. Mine is to raise my eyebrows in shock, and I get disgusted. Next time you hear a trigger sound, think about what emotion you are feeling, and keep track of your thoughts. Try to find the muscular response to your trigger sounds. These details will help you cope with your misophonia. Thoughts regarding misophonia are often violent and defensive, as if the originator of the sounds is attacking you. It's important to break that thinking pattern because that is part of your illness. Repeating a mantra like this person / animal / thing does not intend to trigger me when being triggered can be very healing. Realize that the violent thoughts, although you are responsible for them, stem from a place of illness and not a place of truth. Thought redirection is an essential tool in coping with misophonia, as is improving your general well-being. If you are like me and suffer from other mental illnesses, improving these will reduce the impact of your misophonia. For example, I suffer from clinical depression. The more I combat this with self-care, affirmations, and self-love, the less I notice my misophonia. A few of the specific things I do to reduce my clinical depression are showering regularly, skincare, meditation, yoga, reading, and staying off my phone, especially social media. I stay away from social media because I couldn't stop comparing myself to everyone who didn't have to wear headphones and was able-bodied. The more involved in your own life and hobbies and passions you become, the less misophonia will be in the forefront of your mind. It's easier said than done, and I understand that. Don't beat yourself up when you don't complete your self-care behaviors. Instead, when you complete them, think positive things like, wow, I am so proud of myself for taking this shower and prioritizing my well-being. Think about all of the positive things that involves those processes and the afters. For example, I love the way the foamy soap feels on my body. I love the way I smell after I shower. I love singing in the shower. So this rewards not only the experience of showering, but the after of showering as well. Everyone enjoys different self-care behaviors, so just try out different ones until you find what works for you the best. Thought redirection can help with your disgust or anger at misophonia triggers as well. When people would sniffle, I would think, God, just go get a tissue. That's so fucking rude. Oh, I shouldn't curse on YouTube, sorry. But I know this thought just worsens my misophonia. When I start to think these things, I either try to think about something else, or I think, okay, maybe this person has a cold. I hope they're okay. Your muscular response can worsen your misophonia as well. Once you realize you respond with your body, self-massage once you realize where you responded in your body, self-massage in that area can be very rewarding. So I raise my eyebrows, so I enjoy a light facial massage. So just rubbing here and all over my face and just thinking, that feels so much nicer. When I do get triggered, I immediately relax the eyebrow muscle to make sure the misophonia trigger is less impactful. Accompany these behaviors with rewarding and affirming thoughts, like the ones in the previous example with showering. I do not have any experience with eating disorders, so I cannot comment on that. But I will say a healthy diet and exercise has helped my misophonia. Drinking lots of fluids and eating protein and sufficient calories Taking walks are simple ways to boost your mood. I used to think that because I'm poor, I can't afford to eat healthy, but now I spend $50 on 6 to 7 days of groceries, including 2 meals and snacks, because I'm a big grazer. I won't draw on about the specifics in this video, but I eat lots of rice, tofu, spinach, and eggs because those are all cheap and healthy. Make sure you accompany these behaviors with some of the positive affirmations like the self-care behaviors. For example, when I cook myself a nice meal, I enjoy the moment and tell myself things like, isn't this such a nice dinner service I put on for me? Wow, I really love XYZ about this dish. And I can't believe that I made this dish for only $4. A crucial step for improving my misophonia was starting to journal. It is often hard to find someone who understands misophonia in your life, even if they're professionals. This is why journaling can be so helpful. When I am feeling frustrated or overwhelmed and have the time and setting to write, I purge all my thoughts on Google Docs. So true. That's too true. Every time, it always feels like a sigh of relief to be able to express your thoughts freely whenever you need. I also journal the highlights of my day when I am feeling my best. I typically do this on the same page I vent on because then I can look back at the positive journal entries and remind myself that my life is enjoyable and I'm just having a negative moment. Speaking of negative moments, I really want to talk about crisis management. Sensory overload is inevitable for people with misophonia, so it's best to be prepared. Think about your previous crisis and come up with a list of solutions that could have helped you in the future to avoid these situations. For example, I recently had a crisis because I sleep with wired headphones in order to charge my Bluetooth headphones, but my wired headphones broke. I was breaking down and crying and absolutely miserable. In order to prevent this from happening again, I bought a new pair of headphones and a backup cord. Good thing I did, too, because somehow I've already lost the backup cord. Having a backup plan is crucially important to prevent breakdowns. Yours may look different from mine, and it could be a white noise machine, a way to get away from an event, or a word you can say to your friends to stop triggering behaviors, etc. Headphones are a wonderful avoidant coping mechanism for misophonia, but they're a double-edged sword. When you block out all sounds constantly, the contrast of hearing every sound will be that much more jarring. My personal goal is to not have to wear headphones anymore. In order to get to that point, I often add music out loud and have a positive exposure experiences. Positive exposure is similar to exposure therapy with one key distinction. You don't get upset while being exposed to your trigger sound. It sounds counterintuitive, but the key to doing this is being in a controlled, safe environment. Advice I got from my misophonia specialist was to be a misophonia wimp. Once you start getting triggered, take measures to avoid it. Misophonia only worsens with negative exposure. In order to make this exposure positive, be sure you have a way to stop the trigger you're working on, and that you are using a positive distraction. For example, one of my triggers is the clock ticking next to me at work. I experience positive exposure to this trigger when I take my headphones off. There is some music playing, and I'm having an interesting conversation with my coworkers. Essentially, you want to not notice the trigger, and if you do, think this isn't a concern to me. I am focusing on this positive experience instead. If your positive distraction is not positive enough for the trigger, or the trigger is too severe, stop. Be a misophonia wimp. Put your headphones on and know you're safe. Please let me know if you would like any more advice about misophonia. I have been living with it for a while, so I definitely have a lot of things to say about it. And if you just want to share your experiences, that'd be nice too. Bye. Thank you.